you about my intro. Welcome to my channel. Super nostalgic going through these old photos. It's just like here's me and my oldest friend. We go way back. I actually have a photo, actually she gave it to me, of her and I both dressed in Pocahontas pajamas, and we're like neck and neck to each other, and we're just, her and I are just two peas in a pod even to this day. Let's do this business. Hey guys, welcome back to the Luvin Oven. We are getting comfy today because we're getting personal for me. Today we're going to talk about my dad. He's my fallen soldier, my fallen angel, or whatever you want to call him. I have displayed in front of me like 5 million different photos. My dad was my hero. He was this big, bright, bold personality. Like, my mother has told me about this one time where they walked into this restaurant and the door creaked open and it goes, you know, all the way open. And he looks, he's like stops in his tracks as he walks in the door because everyone in the store or everyone in the restaurant has now stopped their conversation and turned to look at my mother and my father walking into the restaurant. And my father goes, do. And that's the essence of my father. He was just this big ball of love and sunshine, and life just got the best of him, and he ended up leaving us too soon. As I said in my first episode, if you haven't seen that, please check it out. My dad was a major snooty foodie patootie, and, well, he wasn't. He really wanted to be, but what I noticed was that all of his foods had a very similar flavor to it, and if you guys have seen some of my cooking, I really try to, like, I may go through, like, a phase of doing similar seasonings or whatever, but I really try to change the flavor combination, unless it has cayenne pepper in it, because I love me some cayenne pepper. But what's another story I can tell you about my dad? So he's working for Home Depot, and someone comes in and asks him for help, right? And the guys have gone ahead and picked up those fake, like, totally janky teeth. And my dad decided that he was going to help this customer with these teeth in his mouth. If any of you don't remember from when you were like a kid, if you're younger, or if you've tried the fake teeth, but if you even have those like little Dracula teeth things that you have that are out like during Halloween, you know, those suckers make you drool like nobody's business. And that's exactly what happened. So they have these fake teeth things. My dad puts it in his mouth, goes up to help a customer, gets drooly in the process, and goes blah, 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 blah. Every time he told this story, I just completely destroyed it. I'm going to try telling it again. But every time he told this story, he would turn purple from how hard he was laughing. It was the most hilarious thing ever. He's still my melting heart. It's still like, it warms my heart to this day. So many different memories, and some of them don't bring any memories at all. Oh my god, this is one of my favorite stories ever. Okay, we're gonna do this photo next. My dad, one day, I thought he was gonna be working all day, and all of a sudden, my mother, like, someone knocks on the door, I think it was. Someone knocked on the door, and there was a present on the doorstep for me. My mother brings the box to me, and she goes, Holly, open it up. Open, go ahead, go for it. And I open up the box, and It's this beautiful blue full-length dress. I'm like 10 years old at the time. This beautiful full-length dress, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Like, who's this from? Like, what is this? And all of a sudden, there's another knock on the door. It's for you. And my dad has rented a full tuxedo. And like, it makes me choke up already. My dad has rented a full tuxedo, and he's asking me to take me out on a daddy-daughter date. It was the cutest, sweetest thing. Oh my god. He like brought me a single rose, and it was just super, super cute and super, super sweet. And he took me out to my favorite. It's a hoity-toity little tea place. It's called Lisa's Tea Treasure. I'll post a link below. They have some great stuff. They have great tea. And it was one of my favorite places to go. My mother and I would go there every month, or every couple months, or whatever it was, for a mommy-daughter date. And we'd get all dolled up, and we'd like buy the little tea gloves, and wear the tea gloves while we had our tea and little finger sandwiches, and blah, blah, blah. It was super, super cute. I loved it. And when my dad took me, it just made it even more special. But, oh, again, he has to be the life of the party. Waiter comes up to our table, and he goes to order our food from us, and my dad goes, yeah, I'd like a burger and fries, please, and a beer. And the gentleman goes, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have that here. My dad's like, what? Like, I'm just kidding. I know this is not what you have here. I was so embarrassed, though. I was like, please make it stop. Please make it stop. Please make it stop. It's okay. Those moments are what make life all the more worth it. It looks like some Christmas, or maybe it's Easter or something. Maybe it's Father's Day. Oh, I think this was Father's Day. Oh my gosh. Now I have to tell you the story about Father's Day. I don't know what this big thing is up in the air, though. It almost looks like a balloon, but maybe it's just the photo's messed up. I don't know. This one year for Father's Day, my mother and I bought my dad a full suit, and then we took him out to dinner at this restaurant that no longer exists. Okay, so yeah, we took him out to this restaurant, and yeah, just really sweet. I wish I had a picture of him wearing his suspenders. He always had suspenders on, especially towards the end. It was the cutest and the funniest thing ever, because I was like, how old are you? Aren't you like 40? Maybe 30 at the time? Like, stop. Like, you're too young for this. So, let me tell you a little bit more about my dad. I don't know what the reasoning was behind this. He's explained a variety of reasons, but at some point in my dad's life, he ended up falling into alcohol, and just it consumed him, became part of his everyday being, and it just it took him from us in the end. And my father was 51 years old when he died. It was really hard because, you know, he was such a major part of my life, and he was so important to me during my childhood. And to kind of see the demise of my hero was really hard. And it was a very, it was a cruel reality, really. It was a cruel reality on life. But I'm kind of a believer in, you know, life is what you make it. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. What other cheesy quotes can I throw in there? What I was getting at with that was, you know, due to all these hardships that we had during, you know, my adolescence, by the time that I was an adult, I'd kind of stopped talking to him, and I just kind of pushed him out of my life because I felt like it just wasn't worth the argument. Like I didn't want to fight every time I talked to him, or whatever it was every time we talked. It wasn't worth it anymore at that point. So I ended up just cutting him out of my life and you know, trying to cut the excess drama out of my life with it. And I already knew that he was having his issues with alcohol, and I had already come to terms with, you know, the fact that he wasn't going to be with me much longer. I actually had a nightmare in 9th grade about him dying, and even though I had cut my dad out of my life at certain points, my brother never did. And because my brother never did, my mom couldn't either. So my mom would be tracking my brother back and forth between the places, and it was November 2012 and he died January 2013. So November 2012, my mother reaches out to me, and her and the family are going away for vacation, and I couldn't take the time off of work and still pay my bills. So I decided I was going to stay and work and, you know, do whatever I needed to do to make sure that my life was going to be okay. During that time, my mother reaches out to me and she tells me that she didn't think that my dad would be around much longer, and she felt like if I was going to, you know, reach out and reconnect with him, that now would be better than later. So I ended up reaching out to my dad shortly after that, and I remember he ended up having a stroke shortly before I reached out to him. It was shocking to me to hear the change in his voice from the stroke. So we had Thanksgiving Day together, and then a couple days later, something was happening with his system where his body wasn't, this is going to be a little bit more descriptive than I really want to be so soon in my YouTube career, but his body wasn't defecating. He wasn't getting any of the things that he had put into his system out of his system, which brought the toxicity level of his blood up to an extremely high level. And it was literally like 2 days after Thanksgiving. It was like 2 days after the first time that I had seen my dad in years. And I get a call from my aunt or my grandparents or something, and they're like, "Holly, you need to get down here because your dad's really not doing very well." I drove down and I spent some time with him, and I told him at that time that I knew we had like a troubled childhood and everything. And as I'm saying this, his body's just tossing and turning. And I said, "But Daddy, I love you and I forgive you for it." And his whole body calmed. It was such a powerful moment. Woo! Such a powerful moment, though. I'm in touch with my dad constantly during these couple months. The last couple months of his life, we had a conversation. At first it was like almost every day, and then it was like a couple times a week. But regardless, I was always reaching out to him and always trying to keep in touch with him. It was like the week before he died. I was supposed to see him, but I wasn't feeling well. And he was in such a fragile state that I did not want to... which is stupid in hindsight. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but I didn't want to shorten the time that I had with him by giving him an illness that, you know, I had and that I could pass through my system easily, but his system just can't take. A week later, I was actually in a job interview. I was just getting accepted for this job, or getting an offer for this job that I was applying for. And my aunt, I get a slew of phone calls from my aunt and my grandparents. They're all telling me how I need to get down there because my dad's really not doing well. So I get home, I change out of my clothes, I head down, pick up my brother, and then I go straight to my grandparents. When I get there, I go to walk straight into the house. And as my grandpa opens up the door, he goes, "You're too late. You missed him by 10 minutes." And like at first, like it didn't register, and I was like, "Oh, huh." And I kept walking, and then I walked into the threshold of the house, and I was like, "Wait, what?" It was just more like a, "What do you mean? But I'm here." But I just got here. I didn't even. And he goes, "Yeah, you just missed him. He passed away about 10 minutes ago." I couldn't even walk into the house. It was just like my dream. I walked out to the car and my knees buckled underneath me, and after a while I calmed down. And I walked into the house and said my goodbyes. Spent some time with my family. This is a poem I actually wrote for my dad on Memorial Day, which is kind of funny. But I thought I'd read it for you guys and just I don't know. I like it. Whatever. It's really as simple as that. I like it and I wanted to share it. So it's called Daddy's Little Girl. I remember the way you'd fill the room with joy, cracking jokes and smiles everywhere you went. I remember joy and pain when I heard your voice. I remember your laugh, your love. I remember the way you'd sit in your bed, knees bent, folded over each other, lips pursed, while your head bobs to the mix I'd made you. I remember the way you hold me, protecting me and engulfing me whole. I wish I would have done the same for you. I remember almost losing you. I remember the anger and terror. I told you I loved you. I told you I forgave you. But most of all, I remember losing you. My knees buckling beneath me, suffocating. How do I live without you? How do I breathe? I choose to forget our pain because your love for me was stronger. I'll always be Daddy's little girl. Oh! Insert photos here. super cute. Okay. I will see you next time, guys. Thank you for sticking around and watching, and I hope you guys have a great Father's Day, or had a great Father's Day by the time I edit this. It's gonna take like forever. Challenge accepted. Thank you so much for watching my emotional roller coaster. In another day. Happy future Father's Day. Why would I say that? Like, that makes no freaking